Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Easy Peasy Show brought to you by Sportasonic. You can listen to every episode of the Easy Peasy Show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or anywhere else you usually listen to your podcast on. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Now let's get into the episode. Today is September 26th of 2023. Yep, we skipped yesterday's episode and we're going to skip tomorrow's episode. Once again, we're going to kind of merge into a Tuesday episode. Like I said, I don't know if this is a permanent thing or not, but we're leaning towards doing this just for the gives us a chance to catch all of the Sunday action and a little bit of the Monday action as we record. And but as usual, we'll recap our college football picks, UFC picks, NFL picks, and we'll recap some of the other games we didn't cover. On yeah, and obviously we won't forget some of the notable games and fights, and there were a lot of them this weekend. But we'll start off with the UFC Fight Night Fiziev versus Gamrot recap. I was gonna real quickly go over the results here. Yeah, I didn't do too well with my predictions. I was only 6 of 11. Granted, I got three of them perfect, so I'll take that pat in the back, I guess. Granted, all the perfect ones were just my decision calls. Anyways, yeah, a lot of weirdness happened in this most recent fight night. Um, yeah, fighters that were supposed to win didn't win. Like I said, some of the crooked judges got some of these messed up, and some fighters I was a little low on ended up doing a little bit better for themselves. But anyways, we'll move right into it. Cover these prelims pretty quickly here. Monster Rendon gets an upset, or I believe an upset call over Tamarez Vito. Split decision. Once again, I didn't really watch any of these fights, so I can't really tell. I can't say one way or the other if it was like another crooked judging strike, But I'm just gonna I'm just gonna look at this fight and say it is. But hey, congrats to Rendon. She gets to stay in the UFC, gets to keep doing her thing. Um, Moving on to Inoue versus Goldie. Inoue wins via unanimous decision. No shocker there. Goldie needs to stick to OnlyFans. Moving into the heavyweight division, Muhammad Usman gets a unanimous decision win over Jake Collier in the Battle of Trash and not even the Battle of Mid. Yeah, Muhammad Usman. Like I said, it's unfortunate, when you predict a heavyweight fight to go to decision, it's 5% of the fights that you predict to go to decision in the heavyweight division are because it's skilled fighters going against each other. It's like, oh man, this is gonna be a good fight, and the other 95% of it's typically trash. And like I said, this is definitely the glaring 95% of it right here. I said neither of these fighters, I doubt they did much. And like I said, for it to drag out the decision, obviously Usman didn't showcase his power, and Collier didn't catch him with anything either. So yep. Moving on to another fight. If you want to call it an upset, go ahead. But it's disqualification of Jacob Malkoon. He threw an illegal elbow to the back of the head of Brundage, so Brundage gets the win via DQ there. Malkoon, I think, was the favorite, a huge favorite, one of the bigger favorites on the card, and loses via disqualification. So, not the worst look for Malkoon, an unfortunate look, but I imagine if you're Malkoon, you move on and you just keep doing your thing. Like I said, he's a good fighter. Unfortunately, just got DQ'd. You can't do that. He'll know from now. He'll know from now on, I should say. Moving on to Tim Means versus Andre Fiallo. What was going to be a banger of a fight, and sure enough, it was. Ends in a knockout with a knee leading to punches by Tim Means. Fiallo couldn't get it done in the first round, so Tim Means, like I said, eventually wears down Fiallo. Fiallo runs out of gas. And yep, Tim Means wins in third round. So let's see. Moving on to our future prelim, Miles Johns versus Dan Argueta. Miles Johns wins unanimous decision to wrap up the prelims. Moving into the main card, Charles Jourdain and Ricardo Ramos. Pretty good fight for as long as it lasted. Charles Jourdain wins via submission guillotine choke. So congrats to Charles Jourdain. His hype train keeps going a little bit. And speaking of hype trains, Brian Battle going up against AJ Fletcher. Brian Battle is able to catch AJ Fletcher in a submission, gets him out via rear naked choke. Brian Battle climbs to 10-2. AJ Fletcher falls to 10-3. In a rematch of Marina Rodriguez versus Waterson Gomez, Marina Rodriguez gets it done inside the distance. Yeah, like I said, I predict this is. I figure this is Waterson Gomez's last fight. Like I said, unfortunately, I was able to only watch I think the last two fights, so I wasn't able to watch much of this card, unfortunately, but it looks like I didn't miss much for what it's worth. So yeah, Marina Rodriguez wins. Punches from Mount TKO. While Washington Gomez gets her out of there and probably out of the UFC. Moving on to what was a competitive fight. Bryce Mitchell defeats Dan Ige, unanimous decision. Bryce Mitchell was able to get. Bryce Mitchell obviously was taking the most damage, but he was able to stick to his game plan. Got Ige down. Was able to keep him there for most of the fight and control it there. And what was supposed to be an exciting fight, it was exciting for the time being. But yeah, Fiziev ends up getting TKO'd via a leg injury. Gamrot checked with an elbow, a kick that was going to his body. I mean, Fiziev, as soon as that leg connect, I'm sorry, yeah, as soon as the kick connected, you could tell he was not happy about it. And I mean, he collapsed to the ground immediately, covered up, Herb saw it, and called the fight where it was. So yeah, not the most interesting fight card, but some people get their names out there. Other people disappoint. Rafael Fiziev, I hope he gets better soon. Hopefully, there's no significant structural damage. I haven't seen anything that says it is, but granted, I haven't really seen anything at all as far as an update's concerned. But yeah, with that being said, we will move on to our college football coverage here.
Yeah, before we move on, Zach, just want to add to the UFC event this past weekend. Losing Fiziev, I mean, dude, I hate seeing injuries in MMA like that. So commonplace that they are career altering injuries. So, um, yeah, I really hate to see that for Fiziev, such a great fighter. Was looking like it was going to be a really, really good fight too, a banger. Um, hey, props to Gamrot. He made the proper move to get Fiziev up out of there, but hate to see bodies fail on people like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Fighting is obviously probably the toughest sport out there. So I mean, and unfortunately, injuries like this happen all the time. Um, I will say though, I mean, from just assuming here, like I touched on, I think he's going to be okay in the long run. It was really hard to tell. Like, 'cause I haven't really seen any reports saying one way or the other, whether or not he's screwed, like Weidman screwed, or whether or not he's like Conor McGregor screwed, like kind of screwed, but not really. Um, but yeah, I think he'll be all right, and chances are he'll get another decently tough opponent to welcome him back after his injury recovery. But yeah, Gamera, I don't know what's next for him. Like you said, congrats to him. Like you said, was able to check that body kick perfectly, and like I mentioned Conor McGregor, but yeah, shades of Poirier checking the McGregor kick, and
There was no check.
you didn't check Fugan Norton.
Your
Yes.
voice in me DMs. Hey, baby.
Oh, while he's in agony.
I mean, that was just unbelievable. Doctors all around him.
Mhm.
There'll never be another
Joe
Conor
Rogan
McGregor.
sat down next to him to get that interview. Bisping
There
would
will never,
never.
nobody ever will be like him. There's no way, man.
And speaking of Bisping in Octagon post fight interviews, I'm not sure if you saw the Bryce Mitchell post fight interview or not. Did
No, I turned it off. I was watching some college football, so I tuned in to watch that, and then I kind of turned it off as soon as they made the decision.
that's why you gotta have multiple. You gotta have the dual screen action going on.
I did, but
But
there
yeah,
was multiple games on it as well. So
yeah, no, Bryce Mitchell is a man of faith, and props to him for being. I think he's like the only one in the UFC who like is really prominent about it. But he brought a Bible into the ring, and I will say he was saying some like sus things. He was saying like the fires in Hawaii were man made and stuff. That's when it really started to go off the rails. But Mitchell was begging for Ihe to lead a prayer in front on national TV. Bisping wasn't having any of it. He pretty much flipped them off and then walk away. Um, yeah, it was a crazy post fight interview. Something you don't really see that often, especially in the UFC. But like I said,
interesting.
man of faith in Bryce Mitchell. I think this isn't. It was his first time like really like going like all out like this. Because I mean, Dan Ige fights. I'm not sure if it's like out of Hawaii, but he's got Hawaiian connections. Um, so yeah, even he seemed kind of like frozen there, like awkward, because like I said, Bryce Mitchell was like, "Oh, these fires are man made." He basically like spitting out conspiracy theories and stuff. But
Yeah, I heard a bunch of those today at work. No, I'll spare you those though. Maybe we'll
conspiracies are
get on
always
a
fun.
maybe we'll get on a podcast and just talk about conspiracies the whole time one day.
Maybe a special or something, a bonus episode. But yeah, it was a decently interesting UFC event. Like I said, unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch a good bit of it. Like I said, I think the only fight I was able to truly watch were the co-main and the main event. Um, but yeah, all around, I mean, guess it was okay. I only got six of my winners right. But like I said, kind of on a weird card like this, I guess I'll be happy with a little bit over 50% of my
Yeah,
picks being correct.
I'm sure I did pretty poorly as well. I haven't even looked honestly. I saw some of the results. I was like, yeah, no shot that I did well. So
Yeah,
mm,
scary hours for sure. But we can move on to college football if you're ready.
yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Any games in particular that you wanted to cover, or I mean, there's a couple obvious ones. So obviously our hometown team, LSU, or we can go over the beatdown of Colorado, the first beatdown of Colorado, I should say.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah,
one of the Colorado teams.
so I kind of sorted my games. I now did not have the LSU game marked as one of the ones I wanted to cover. Um, just because I mean it was a great game. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of overshadowed by some of the other ones. Um, I kind of sorted them by like the time they got played. So bear with me here. Started out with, of course, the highlight of the morning slate was Clemson and Florida State. Man, it was a great game, very competitive between the two teams. It almost felt like neither team really wanted to, let me rephrase it. Neither coach wanted to win, neither offensive coordinator in specific. Um, After a pretty decently high scoring first half, um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Florida State took the F it. Keon Coleman's down there somewhere approach, and Clemson just refused to do the things that were working for them. Even in overtime, the same things persisted. I mean, Florida State said, F it, Keon Coleman down there somewhere, and he came down with one. And Clemson ripped off a 9-yard run on 2nd and 10 and then refused to give it to their senior running back. They threw a screenplay and he got tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Um, Man, it's kind of not what we've grown to expect from these two coaches, Mike Norvell and Dabo Sweeney. Mike Norvell is now 10-0 in his last 10 at Florida State after starting up. I want to say he started like 3-13. Um, I mean, hey, props to him. He's really turned that program around. But man, there's still some really questionable things he does. And then on the flip side, Dabo Sweeney, I don't know what's going on with him. A, he refuses to recruit the transfer portal. B, the offense is trash now, and you've had two straight like highly touted quarterbacks come through, and they can't produce for you. Um, I mean, you got to make a change. I don't know if Dabo has his hands in the offense. It certainly does kind of look like it. Um, I think he needs to kind of take a step back from the offensive play calling, though. But I'll move on to my next game, which would be Oregon and Colorado. And I mean, it is what I expected this game to be. Oregon definitely one of the better teams in the Pac-12. Defensively, offensively, they're really one of the most complete teams. I knew their D line, their front seven, um, e- and their O line was going to give Colorado fits, and of course their receivers. Bo Nix is one of the better quarterbacks in the country. Now, what the only thing I wasn't expecting in this game was Oregon's secondary to be as dominant as they were. I mean, I want to say it's Jerry Jackson. Let me see. Um, but he had a freaking game, man. Um, he was lights out defending passes left and right. I mean, they couldn't do anything against him. Kyrie Jackson, I'm sorry, transferred from Alabama actually. So, he balled out against Colorado. I see a lot of people on Twitter saying, "Oh, it would have been different if Travis Hunter would have been there." Y'all need
Hmm.
to get that out of y'all's head right now. That was not going to be different if Travis Hunter was in the game. He would have got locked up too. He wouldn't have been able to lock up their receivers. I'm sorry to tell y'all, he hadn't played anybody yet.
He's getting locked up on Call of Duty.
Yeah, that what
Talking
was
about.
that? I mean, he's streaming as his team's
I
getting their
know.
backs blown out.
Talking about the prom effect, baby. That's
That was unbelievable.
was it really though? Was it
No,
really
it wasn't, but it is like
that kind of guy, that kind of player on that kind of team with that kind of coach? It's definitely not out of the
the only part that
stretch of my
surprised me was that
imagination.
he wasn't wearing his giraffe pajamas. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, that game is what I expected it to be. Oregon blew them out. I don't think I had it. I mean, the spread was
yeah,
put at Oregon by 21.
yeah, yeah.
They won
So
by
yeah,
36. So
that's it. Yeah, yeah. No, but I think Colorado may have gotten garbage time points if I'm not mistaken in the fourth quarter. Maybe not like
they
quite
scored with two
garbage
minutes
time,
left.
but oh, okay, it
It's-
was garbage time then.
yeah, and Oregon had no starters in.
Oh well. Oh, they. Oh, okay. I was about to say they had no one on the field, but you said starters.
Yeah.
That- oh well. Womp womp. Down goes Colorado.
Yep. Only
No
to
one
lose
is
again next
crying.
week.
Yeah, who they play? USC.
USC.
The Caleb Williams experience.
Oh God.
I
See who they got in the next few games. See.
think they got Georgia, then Ohio State,
If
then Texas.
you ask the media, they'll win all of them. So they play USC at Colorado. They play at Arizona State. They play at Colorado against Stanford. They play at UCLA. Play Oregon State at home. Arizona at home. They play at Washington State and at Utah.
So what? How many wins do you think they get out of those 8 games? Like two,
2 or 3.
mm, three.
Arizona,
Whoa.
Arizona State, and Stanford are the 3 games that I have circled here that are
Yeah,
winnable. I don't think
Arizona State,
UCLA, Oregon
Stanford.
State, Washington State, Utah, or UC are winnable for them.
No, I agree as well. And yeah, I agree with you there. I could see three. I think more realistically too. They probably lose to one of Arizona State, Stanford, or Arizona.
I would say
Um,
the most likely of those would be Arizona.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree there. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, sure they looked good against TCU, which um, stud defense. You let TCU get 42 on you. Not a good look. The Nebraska win is okay, I guess. You beat Nebraska. Colorado State was an ugly win as well. I mean, I mean, for what it's worth, for what it's worth, I think Colorado got their 3 weeks of fame. Finally we can stop seeing ESPN and Sports Center just do nothing but post about this team. I mean, finally move on to something else. It's
More
unfortunate
deserving
what they
too.
moved on to now, but I don't even have to say it because everyone's seen it so many times.
Uh, Maybe I'm missing the what you're referencing.
Dude, oh my, are you kidding me? Taylor Swift, Ring a
Oh,
bell?
oh, oh. I'm thinking college football. So yes, yeah, we'll get into that later. My next game of the week would be Bama Ole Miss. Great game between
Sicko.
two lackluster teams. Um, and Ole Miss was who I thought they would be. I think I texted you, Zach. I told,
Fraudulent.
yeah, they're fraudulent. Bama's O line is trash. Their D line couldn't get any pressure. Um, Bama had all the pressure in the world on their O line, which I still think their O line is weak. If you shut down Judkins, you really shut down the game. You contain. Let me rephrase it. If you contain Dart and shut down Judkins, you have the game won essentially.
Mhm.
I don't want to say an easy game plan because both of those guys are supremely talented, but you know the game plan moving forward to beat Ole Miss.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely, and that should be an interesting game this week. Upcoming between Ole Miss and LSU.
yeah, so
Um,
LSU opens up as a 3.5 point favorite.
oh wow, that spread's growing. Well, I checked whenever the lines released, they were only like 1.5 point favorites. So I guess money's pouring in for LSU,
Yeah,
which I
so
mean it kind of makes sense. Everyone's a little high on LSU after a gutsy win, and people are low on Ole Miss after
a
a
loss.
true an SEC opponent worth something, an opponent worth something. I should just say in general.
You just see more of the same from what you've seen from Ole Miss lately. They play great against subpar competition, but when
what you're
they
supposed to
play
do.
anybody with a pulse, I mean, they they crack and fold.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so like I said, it'd be interesting to see how they do against LSU. Like I said, I think Alabama's gonna. This probably is a nice little spot for Alabama. Start getting their mojo back a little bit, kind of get back to who they're used to being. Which I don't think they'll ever get back to their true, um, dynasty, no holds barred, rampant, kind of thing Nick Saban had going. But for what it's worth, I think Alabama had a little bit of a bounce back spot right there. And
yeah,
like I said, 24-10, kind of a deceiving score to be honest. I think, like you said, it was kind of a ugly game all around. Not super ugly, but ugly enough from both these teams where it's like really, like it doesn't feel like I'm watching an Ole Miss Alabama game. Um, but yeah, should be interesting to see if Ole Miss can have a bounce back game against LSU, or if LSU tries to keep up their high power, high octane offense against
yeah,
Ole Miss.
and I think LSU will be able to do that. I don't think Ole Miss has the dudes to contend with LSU's passing attack. Um, but then again, on the flip side, I think Ole Miss absolutely has the dudes to just expose LSU secondary. So both those teams better.
Wait, LSU secondary being exposed? No,
Yeah,
no. Anyone on
um,
LSU's defense being exposed? No.
yeah. Mason Smith is big for nothing, by the way.
Yeah, pretty
Anyway, we'll
much. Yeah,
move
the hype
on.
on him is over, and let's just they keep running Perkett on free safety. So
Yeah, until they
yeah,
start running Harold Perkins on the edge, the DC isn't a serious DC. So I don't understand how you can have one of the better edge rushers in the country and just not use him as an edge rusher. I don't get that, dude. I don't get it.
breaking news: Patrick Mahomes transitions to tight end after Andy
Yeah,
Reid has significant breakthrough. Has he sees the vision?
I mean, at what point do you say, "All right, maybe this isn't working"?
Oh no, I really don't know what point. If you don't say it after the Florida State game, where do you say it?
I
If
mean,
you're
you see, like
LSU,
one of the few times he lined up on the edge, I mean, he just obliterated the tackle against Arkansas and destroyed KJ Jefferson. So,
oh yeah,
I, anyway, look, I digress. I'm not the coach, I guess. Maybe they know more than me, but I would like to see the best
perhaps.
edge rusher in America play edge. That's just me, though. Um, moving on to my next game, Washington State and Oregon State. Man, Washington State looked good against a
Hmm.
good Oregon State team. I mean, the score, I think it was a one-score game at the end. I think they only won by 3, correct?
Yeah, it was 38-35. Oregon State got 21 of their points in the fourth quarter, storming back
Yeah,
to
it was
make an
kind of a
effort. But yes, it was a runaway in the first half for sure. Yeah, it was 28-14. It was actually 35-14 going into the fourth quarter.
yep. Which DJ Uiagalelei continues. I mean, a pretty hot start for
Hmm.
Oregon State. Looked good again the other night. Obviously, got down. You don't want to do that, but man, Washington State's line play is incredible. I can't wait to see them go up against Colorado. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was an impressive showing by both the teams. Like you said, Oregon State, they're 3-1 now, but yes, they had a ridiculously hot start, and so did Washington State, a team that, I guess up until now, a lot of people were overlooking. I think this game as a whole kind of got overlooked. Like I said, this past Saturday was one of the couple weekends we'll have of college football where almost every game was nearly can't miss. I mean, it felt like 10 games with ranked opponents going against each other. Obviously, not that much, but I mean, you had at least five that I can think of off the top of my head. Um,
And even the games that weren't ranked, I mean, they were close.
yeah, absolutely. And but yeah, I think both these teams are going to continue to do well in the Pac-12, or at least this season, I should say. Um, DJ, not going to try and pronounce his last name, Goulet. Um, continuing to do well. I know a lot of people were down on him coming into the season, but like I said, I mean, sometimes all you need is a change of scenery. We see it all the time, and especially college players. I mean, that's why the transfer portal is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger every season because these players just don't feel necessarily right in certain offenses. So I mean, they just go somewhere else, and all of a sudden it's rejuvenation. Not quite like a fountain of youth rejuvenation, but enough to make a difference. And like I said, I think that's what we're experiencing with DJ. And I can expect Oregon State. I'm not sure. Obviously, Pac-12, very tough conference to play in. You play Utah. Shoot, you play Utah the 29th. What is it? That Saturday or is that Friday? I feel like
Yeah,
it's Friday.
I think it's Friday.
Yep, it's Friday. Yes. Oh, we got a nice little Friday game then. Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But
and Cam Rising, he didn't play last week against UCLA, um, but yeah, I think Cam Rising will be. I've been saying this every freaking every game, but I think Cam Rising will be back for this one.
I know, dude. Where is he? I mean, like, is
So
he?
he tore his ACL in the Rose Bowl last year, and he just keeps, I guess, not having setbacks, but they're like, he's not quite
I'm just
ready.
putting it off.
Yeah, I guess
I mean, at
so.
no point rushing him. The last thing you want is, I mean, especially ACL injuries. I mean, you see all the time in the NFL. I mean, they're not rushing Kyler Murray back. What's his name for the Jets? Brees Hall. I mean, they went out and signed. They paid Dalvin Cook a lot of money just to essentially let Brees Hall have a easier time coming back from his ACL injury. And yeah, an athletic guy like Cam Rising, you definitely don't want to rush him back. And I'd argue and say, correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of a undisputed leader of the offense, or at least the big name on that Utah offense. And, maybe they're probably ranked higher with him at the helm. But I mean, for right now, they're holding down the fort.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
hopefully he
mean, and
comes
there's
back this
no,
Friday.
I don't think there's any kind of rush until you at least you lose one game.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they made the championship game last year, right?
Correct. They beat
Pac-12 championship. I'm
USC
sorry.
pretty soundly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They beat USC pretty soundly in that one.
yeah. Like I said, I think that's partly due to Cam Rising. I'm not too familiar with their offensive schemes, but I'd imagine having a guy like Rising back there kind of
Oh,
helps
100%.
any situation.
A lot of bootleg action.
Oh, okay.
And so one backup quarterback for him is not very mobile. He can throw okay, but he's not very mobile. The other one
Hmm.
is super mobile, but he doesn't throw okay. Cam Rising is very mobile and throws okay. Throws pretty well. So
Yeah, yeah. I'd imagine an offense that has a lot of like you said, the bootleg action. Like you said, having a quarterback like Cam Rising, it's definitely that's definitely the offense, I guess, for him.
oh yeah. So moving on to my last game that I have circled was the Ohio State Notre Dame game, and it was an instant classic. Um, I mean, scoring a walk off touchdown against Notre Dame is something people dream of. Man, what a what a
Except
game,
Notre
especially
Dame.
yeah, well, especially after the comments of about Ryan Day from Lou Holtz. So that was pretty cool to see.
No, yeah, that was.
It's
I
not
mean,
often I root for Ohio State.
yeah, no, definitely not. So yeah, you feel like that game cheering for the lesser of two evils, and very
It's
competitive game though.
it's contradicting how we say that about a Christian school.
Yeah, I know, crazy, but I think,
None of
and
the
I guess
preachers
especially
get
for
it.
me, for Ohio State, for me, it's mainly the fans that irk me. I guess they also claim to be. What does OSU compete with them with for
DBU,
DBU? Yeah,
wide receiver U as well.
I think, especially recently, Ohio State's got wide receiver U on lockdown. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue Jefferson and Chase, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean you can't go wrong with really either of those schools.
yeah, no, definitely not. Well, the only way they go wrong was whenever they claim Joe Burrow, and
Oh gosh, dude, don't even get me started
that's
on
that's
that.
that's always so funny to me. Never really makes too
Don't
much sense.
Georgia fans claim Justin Fields?
Do they?
No, man, because they have sense.
Let's see. Who does LSU claim? LSU fans definitely don't claim Reed Gilbert.
No, indeed.
Who is that? Well,
Oh,
never
he got
heard.
arrested again. I forgot about that.
Right, I know. Yep, this
Um,
time for assaulting the president.
I'm trying to think of like
Oh,
a
and
really.
a little bit of an injury scare in that Ohio State Notre Dame game. Kind of
Oh,
forgot
Marvin
about it because
Harrison.
yeah, well, because he like came back with a freaking 20 pounds of tape around around his ankle. So I'm good, coach. Put me in.
Yeah, they definitely gave him a shot of something.
Oh boy, dude.
A horse
They fr-
tranquilizer.
they freaking like broke a finger or something, so he'd forget about the pain in his ankle.
You know,
That's
that's the
that's
same game
crazy.
Jackson Smith and Jigba got hurt for the season last year too.
That's a cursed game.
I guess so. I don't think it's necessarily Notre Dame playing dirty or anything. By the way, if for any listeners out there, maybe insinuating that I did, I think it's just a coincidence. I don't think they were playing dirty to hurt JSN or Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not. As I don't really remember the JSN play, but I mean the Marvin Harrison Jr. one, you can tell me. I think he literally just someone. I'm not sure if I can't remember if they're going for a tackle or if they literally just got kind of got shoved onto him. I think MHG was like throwing a block or something.
No, they were going for the tackle, just kind of missed. I think it was Travion Henderson.
Uh, womp womp.
Yeah. I want to
There goes
say
the
it was kind
first
of the
overall pick.
same. I want to say it was kind of the same thing though with Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Jackson Smith, what?
And Jigba
Yeah, yeah. You say that in loud and proud next time because that was a little sketchy.
in Jigba.
Yes,
So
he's in what
I'm
now?
watching this play right now. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, never mind. It
Yeah.
wasn't really the same thing. But yeah, we'll move on. Hey, we haven't talked about this. Who are your Heisman top five
Top
early in the season?
five.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go top three. Top
Good
three.
God.
Top three.
Oh, let's see. Obviously, that big Penix injury, energy, I should say. Sorry, I got freaking the
No,
word
please
injury
no.
on my
Please,
head.
please, please no. Please no injury.
Um, golly, calm down, bro. He ain't gonna hear that. He's not gonna. I don't think he knows who you are.
I don't care.
I mean, he threw an interception last game, so I kind of have to take him out of the running. Um, so yeah, now that he's out, I'm gonna have to say Travis
Jordan Travis.
Hunter.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to say who's the quarterback for USC? Good God, what's his
Caleb
name?
Williams.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Yeah, yeah, Caleb Williams and Michael Penix Jr. And
In the field.
yeah, pretty. That's kind of how I feel. I want to say I'm not. I haven't really been keeping up with how Bo Nix has been doing, but I mean, I know he's been doing well for what it's worth. You know, seventh year senior quarterback for Oregon. Like I said, I know he's been doing pretty well. I think Jaden Daniels, after having a rough 2 games, really first game and then second game, kind of getting back on track. I think Jaden Daniels is still trying to make a go at getting his name back in there again. But yes, it seems kind of, especially with um, Shoulder Sanders and Travis Hunter both kind of being out of it now. And like the media, I should say, getting out of people's minds. Yes, it seems to be yeah, a battle between Caleb Williams and Michael Penix Jr. Um, so it should be fun. Pac-12 going at it.
Yeah.
I'm not. Who's that?
Definitely.
Fart. Who's that one guy that I'm thinking of? It's really like I said, it's really just between them two for me, for what it's worth. But um,
Bo Nix.
no, like I said, I don't know. I don't know how he's doing. I know he's doing Bo Nix this season, if that makes sense. Like really, he's doing really good, but not Heisman good. Like some, he's not spectacular.
He's done really well lately. I mean,
And so
since
is
he
Jane
transitioned,
Daniels.
yeah, since he transitioned to Oregon or transferred to Oregon, I should say, he's been outstanding. So I got to give Bo Nix the credit there, although I don't really care for him. But yeah. So my top three, um, yeah, obviously Michael Penix and Caleb Williams. Oh man, number three. It is tough. Um, it's tough because do you go like resume early on in the season or do you just go like by man uh yeah no
Choose a defensive player.
no they'll never win the Heisman anyway um I guess I'll say Jordan Travis.
Boo.
Jordan Travis, just because of the wins. Um, I mean, he has more. He has the best wins of any other Heisman hopeful thus far. So that's
Mhm.
absolutely subject to change, of course. But yeah, as of now, I'll say Jordan Travis.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Shoot, who's the wide receiver that Penix is obsessed with?
Is it McMillan? No,
No,
it's not
he's
McMillan.
he has a unique last name. He has a
Yeah,
unique name.
it was McMillan last year that he was like obsessed with. Man, why can I not remember this dude's name?
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Okay, let
I'm
me look it
looking him
up.
up. Is it Odunzi?
That
Odunzi?
that sounds right.
I want to say it's Odunzi.
Regardless, I said it sounds
I mean, that is the guy that I'm talking about, at least. I just don't know how to pronounce his last name.
okay. Then yeah, we must be talking about the same guy.
Yeah, Odunze.
Yeah, yeah, I think. Yeah, Rome. Yeah, Rome
Yes.
Odunzi. Yeah, Odunzi. Who knows? We're trying here.
Yeah.
He's
Just
really good. I don't know. I didn't really hear much of his name in preseason, at least from um my research. But I mean, he's kind of become a favorite target of Michael
oh
Penix
yeah, for
Jr.
sure. You act like you're on first name basis with the dude.
Mr.
Yeah, no,
Penix.
he is a good receiver. Um, Washington's full of them, so I almost think they might be the best team in the country right now
Shoot, yeah. I sure hope so. I think that's what I think me and your predictions.
to win the Pac-12. Yeah,
Yeah, I think we're both pretty high on Washington. They're doing us proud so far.
yeah. I can't wait for them to just inevitably blow it against some crap team.
Yeah, who do they play next?
Uh, let me see.
Yeah, I just had to go off the top of this thing. Oh, Arizona. Yeah, they're cooked.
Oh God, no, no, no. They should
No,
be.
no.
They should be all right.
The bus is
Famous
going
last
to
words.
crash on the way there.
Oh man,
They're probably flying a plane. That's a pretty
Leonard,
far. That's
Leonard,
pretty
Leonard
far.
Skinner mode. Too soon. Too soon.
Yeah, don't matter. I mean, 9/11 jokes are okay. Leonard Skinner, though, no.
Oh no, no! You said it on the
What?
internet. You said it on the internet.
What? So does everyone.
Yeah, you're right. Who cares?
So does everyone.
Only difference is that they say behind burner accounts.
I don't know.
Sometimes,
You'd be
sometimes.
surprised. You ever listen to the Joe Rogan Experience?
mm.
Oh, you ever listen to Theo Vaughn?
Oh God, Theo. That dude's a clown.
Yeah. Anyways, anything more in college you wanted to cover, or
No, I think that's it for me.
all right. Oh, we can move
Ooh,
on to. Go
the
ahead.
NFL.
Yeah, baby. NFL. Crazy.
Oh, insane
A little
week.
bit of a crazy week. Yeah. It's all around. I mean, college football and NFL. It was a very interesting week. Um, a lot of major upsets. None bigger than I'd say the Cowboys losing to the Cardinals. I definitely didn't have that on the bingo card. And
No, no,
pretty bad
indeed.
loss for the Cowboys too. It's 28-16 for a team that I mean, I hate to say they're tanking because I mean they probably are at the end of the day. Even though Kyler Murray's expected to return sometime during the season, I don't know how
Nah,
or why or when.
dude, during the
But
game, they saw the Bears score and said, "Oh, we might as well try."
yeah. So yeah, very. I guess I don't know if I wouldn't even really call it impressive for Arizona. I would just call it disappointing for the Cowboys. But like I said, the Cowboys are going to cowboy. I said now we don't have to hear "We Them Boys" for a week.
Let's
Um,
go.
yeah. And another pretty big upset was the Colts beating Baltimore. A little less embarrassing, 22-19 in overtime. Their kicker, Colts kicker, I can't remember his name. Gay, I think. I mean, he
Matt
just
Gay.
made the yeah. That's insulting. But he pretty much won the game for the Colts. They couldn't quite. I think they found the end zone maybe once, and then yeah, the kicker took care of the rest of it on the whole time.
Put the team on his back.
Yes, Greg Jennings. Um, yeah, kind of. Once again, not really too impressed by the Colts. More or less, just embarrassing for Baltimore. Kind of weird in this new regime offense. Lamar seemed to struggle. I don't know if it was the weather. I don't know really what it was, but yeah, like I said, it was kind of weird seeing this new offense struggle. Maybe it was because of the injury list that was 2 miles long. Um, but yeah, you hate to blame it on that. And John Harbaugh, once you get past the 50-yard line, John Harbaugh is automatically in Justin Tucker mode. So like I said, maybe the offense kind of stalls out because of that. But yeah, good for the Colts, winning 22-19, beating Baltimore, and now there's one lone undefeated AFC team. And boy, did they put it on Denver or what?
Hmm.
They
Yeah. So if y'all don't know who he's referencing somehow, some way, he is obviously referencing my Dolphins. Not I say my Dolphins. I'm not a fan of the Dolphins, but I did project them to do well this year. So uh, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to call them my Dolphins tonight. Um, hanging 70 bomb. Oh my gosh, hanging a 70 bomb on the Broncos. Couldn't have happened to a better person than Sean Payton.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's kind of the big storyline here is the Sean Payton led Broncos are not doing too well. Blame it on the roster. Blame it on whatever you want. Russell Wilson don't really matter. This new era not looking too good for the Broncos. I think a lot. I'd say about 50-50. It was kind of between Denver. People saying Denver would do well and they wouldn't, but obviously it's the latter.
I wouldn't say
I
it's the
believe.
roster,
I mean,
honestly.
me neither. But I guess let's be honest. Let's have a look here. Russell Wilson. Um,
He ain't the old
Man,
Russell Wilson.
he's well past his prime. Uh, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. It's very confusing. Obviously, if you're a Saints fan, you're a little happy. As far
Yeah,
as this game is concerned, not for your own game, but
get into
you're
that.
pretty stoked over the Sean Payton downfall. And I know you saw Payton, but the post game interview, props to him for going in there first of all. Yeah, but we know the social media team didn't even post the final score. So props to him for going in there. But like I said, I mean the interviewers or the media kept bombarding him with the yo, you just lost by 70. And he's like, yeah, I know it's embarrassing, whatever. I forgot the exact quote, but he was
I'm
very
aware.
upset. Yeah, I'm aware. He was
What's the
very
question?
upset. Yes. It gives off the Nick Saban vibes of I'm not going to answer, so quit asking, and definitely gave off those vibes. But yeah, very embarrassing. Like I said, 70 points in an NFL game. I mean, a 60-minute game, and typically your offense is only out there for anywhere from like let's just say 25 to 35 minutes. Yeah, bad day if you're a Denver defense fantasy owner. Bad day
I
if you're a
saw in
Denver
one league
fan.
somebody got like 26 points from their defense.
From the Denver defense.
I promise you.
I want to play on their settings.
I was like,
Their league
what?
set. Probably because I think fantasy it caps off after 35. Once a team scores 35 or more,
Yeah, they
the
did
the
so
point caps.
poorly, it ended up not hurting them that bad.
Well, I think it's and like I think the Denver defense actually like got like they did something good like the special because I think the special teams counts too, so they may have gotten like a return for a touchdown or something. But yeah, good for Miami. Looking good to start off the season, just like they have the past couple of seasons. Will they inevitably crash? Who knows? We'll see. Guess it's up to a CTE and Tyreek Hill's Achilles is not blowing out. Same thing for Waddle. Um, when you got the need for speed on your team, I guess who cares what kind of scheme you run. But yeah, good for Miami looking strong, and shame on Sean Payton and the Broncos looking terrible.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, Tua looks good. Now, is it hard to look good with that offense? No. But hey, look, you got to give him props. He does look good so far this year.
Yeah, we've heard this story before. Three
Yeah, now
seasons in a row now.
if he can just freaking stay healthy.
Oh yeah, three
At some
seasons in
point,
a row.
you got to kind of feel bad for him, man. I mean, good dude. I've never heard a
Where'd he
bad.
come from again?
Hey, that should even show you more. I can't stand Alabama, and I'm giving this dude props. So I've never heard a
Yeah, no,
bad
I
thing.
will. I will never support someone whose first name I can't say. I'll just say that.
Hmm. You can't say
Yeah,
Tua. I thought that was pretty easy. 3 letters.
that's not his first name though. That's a nickname.
Yeah, King Tut. King
And it
Tut
reminds
looking last
reminds me of
name,
my high
first
school
name.
coach. Don't want to even ever think about him ever again. Anyways, moving on to another game. I guess we'll do New Orleans and Green Bay because that was a story of two halves. Obviously, Jordan Love looked good in the second half, not so good in the first half.
Story of
New Orleans,
3 quarters, really.
yeah, New Orleans starting out strong, and then Derek Carr goes down. I believe the Saints are calling him week to week with some kind of sprain in his shoulder,
AC sprain, yeah.
an AC sprain. Oh man, that's tough, especially in the summer, dude. You don't want that AC going out. Um, but yeah, I'm sorry, not Jordan Love. Derek Carr is going to be week to week. Jameis Winston is going to be probably taking over the lead role for the Saints offense now with Derek Carr out. Um, yeah, so New Orleans was winning 17-0. I can't remember what point they gave up that not the lead, but let Green Bay finally score. But yeah, Green Bay came then they scored 18 points unanswered on New Orleans. They got a 2-point conversion somewhere in there, able to give them that 1 point lead. For what it's worth, New Orleans and Jameis Winston, they went down the field, got in the field goal position, but rookie kicker, groupie, pretty unfortunate situation for him to be in. It wasn't like a chip shot by any means. And you're in a rambunctious crowd at Lambeau Field having to kick, your first true like game-winning field goal. Uh, yeah, tough situation for him to be in. I wouldn't blame the kicker at all. Unfortunately, at a certain point, you have to I don't know. I guess look at the Derek Carr injury as a momentum swinger, but really, I guess it's just the defense folding in on itself. I mean, they straight up had a collapsible chair moment, and I mean they looked awful. Like I said, Jordan Love looked good for what it's worth. I'm not going to put all the blame on New Orleans being bad. I think it's 50-50.
Yeah, he made some pretty
Yeah.
high level throws in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He looked great, and he was hyped up. Which if you're a Green Bay fan, that's exactly what you want to see from Jordan Love. In the new era for this Green Bay offense, and especially with, I mean, I was making fun of the Ravens for having, a 2 mile long injury list, but I mean, Green Bay had so many significant injuries, the betting line straight up flipped to the Saints' favor before the game, which was it's rare for injuries to have that much of an impact to where sportsbooks say, okay, no, they're no longer the favorites at home. We're giving it to the away team who hasn't been all that good this season. But like I said, Green
Yeah.
Bay was able to pull out a gutsy win against New Orleans. And if you're New Orleans, first loss of the season, pretty bad loss. And like you see, not only the loss on the schedule, but also the loss of Derek Carr, who I think for what it's worth, I will say this: you're probably not going to miss Derek Carr all that much. Alvin Kamara's coming back, so the run game is going to be a little bit. It's going to be a lot better, I should say. Jameis Winston, probably one of the better backups in the league.
No,
But
I'm
you
just
don't think
kidding.
he is? Oh, shoot! I was about to say, man. I was about to say, I don't know, man. Anyways,
Saints
so
fans
yeah.
hate that man, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's got to be a race thing too. But yeah. Anyways, like I said, good for Green Bay, not so good for New Orleans. I mean, I don't know. I kind of, like I said before the game even started, I kind of, granted, had I heard all the injuries before our Friday predictions, I probably would have said the Saints were going to win. But for what it's worth, I did say Green Bay was going to win, and it was going to be a close game. So I'll take my credit there, even if it happened in an unconventional manner.
Yep. Yeah, so Zach's a better man than me. I don't really want to speak on that game.
I
He can
do.
talk about his team losing in an embarrassing fashion. I'm good.
I do what I have to do for the listeners. Is there any other game you want to cover? I know there's a couple other good games, but like I said, we don't. I know we don't have all the time in the world to cover it. And I mean,
Oh, we'll
speaking of
cover
good games,
just
we got
one
some.
really, really quick.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Jags, Texans, obviously a huge upset.
Oh yes, yes. I knew there was one more. I'm looking at the schedule. The whole schedule in front of me. I kept missing it.
Yeah, so I texted you. I think that was last week. I texted you. I really, really, really like what D'Amico Ryan's is building in Houston. Now,
Hmm.
look, that's not me saying that they're going to be a good team this year because I mean, you have to be realistic with yourselves. They're not going
Right,
to be a
right.
great team this year. But man, I mean, he's got them dudes playing really well. CJ Stroud looked really, really good yesterday.
Hmm.
Still hadn't thrown a pick this year, by the way. Um, so yeah, hey, props to the Texans. They're getting better each week, which is really what you want to see from a first year head coach. Um, some of your young players are starting to already kind of blossom into young stars. So hey, good for the Texans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we had this discussion on last week's episode. But me and you were both high on the Texans rebuild. We finally, me and you both kind of said they've rounded that corner of the rebuild where it's like, the dark days are behind them. Is the best way to put it. I think they're definitely trending in the right direction, and obviously this is one of those staple wins in your rebuild that you like to see. And it was a blowout of Jacksonville, who was hot. I say hot, but I mean for what it's.
They're a good team, man.
I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, I wasn't
Defensively,
too
they
high
haven't.
on them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't like too high on them in my preseason predictions.
me either.
And I mean, I figured they drop some games here and there, and this is one of them. But yeah, like I said, we're
Yeah, I
definitely
wasn't high on them either. Please don't go back and listen to my predictions.
right. Yeah, but yeah, good for Houston. Like I said, maybe that corner has officially been turned, and they're going uphill now. Not in like struggle wise, but uphill as far as trending in a positive direction.
Yeah,
So
I think they will.
oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, but overall, very interesting week in the NFL. If you want to, Peyton, we can move on to our winners and our losers of the weekend, and then
Yep.
hang our hats up on this episode.
Yeah. So my first winner is Michael Penix. Another big week for him. And Washington as a whole looks really, really good. Still defensively, they're still not the greatest, but their defense is good enough to allow them to win games big. And I think it's going to be good enough to win big games, period.
Mhm.
So yeah, Michael Penix and Washington are my first winner.
Nice, nice, and I'll keep it in the college football realm as well, and I'll kick it to to a hometown player for us, and I really it's between two people for LSU. But I'm going to go with my first winner being Jaden Daniels. I know a lot of people like I said, his style of quarterback isn't something we're used to. I know everyone expects, or all the LSU fans, I should say, expect Joe Burrow 2.0 to just pop up out of thin air. And for what it's worth, I think people are expecting Nussmeier to not quite be Joe Burrow 2.0, but to be a lot closer to Joe Burrow than Jane Daniels ever will be. But Jane Daniels, like I said, I think he was not the Heisman favorite preseason, but he was, I think, second or third after Caleb Williams and maybe Bo Nix. But he's starting to kind of come out of his shell, kind of air it out deep now. Yeah, he's looking really good. Malik Neighbors, I'll just go ahead and combo them too. This is the other guy I was talking about. Malik Neighbors, yeah, coming out of his shell too. Like I said, them two, the connection between them two is clicking, and obviously, I think Malik Neighbors' the stock is going to continue to rise throughout the season. And I mean, he won't be Marvin Harrison Jr. level, as far as the NFL draft is concerned. But I mean, hey, he's round one talent right now, and he's definitely trending even up in the draft more and more. So
Yeah.
yeah, those are my first, I guess, two winners.
So talking about Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels, I will say I was one of the ones to be very critical of Jaden Daniels early on. Um, I just know the weapons that LSU has on the outside in terms of receiver, and I didn't like how. I mean, there's still some things that I wish he would clean up, throwing with more anticipation, throwing the ball better downfield. But look, he's gotten so much better the last 2 weeks doing so. I guess I shouldn't say so much better at doing it, or he's just more willing to do it. I mean, just giving those big, tall receivers a chance, man, and he's finally doing it. And so, look, as long as he continues to do that, 100% fine with him over Nussmeier, man.
Mhm.
No complaints here from Jaden Daniels. In terms of Malik Neighbors, dude, he's a freak. I mean, he's beating bracket coverages and all. Dude, he's one of the. If not, I'm not gonna say he's Marvin Harrison, but he might be two or three.
Yep, I completely agree with you there. Like I said, he's definitely climbing up in the ranks. I know people are saying Ohio State's got the 1-2 as far as the wide receivers.
Igbuka
Um,
and Harrison.
correct. And although I think for the time being it's true, I think by the time the season ends, You see, obviously Harrison Jr. is going to run away with number one, but I think Neighbors is going to um, knock off Ibuka for number two. And like I said, it really just depends on that connection. Like I said, that's good. It's great to see Jaden Daniels, especially if you're an LSU fan. Good to see him, like you said, Peyton, opening up. It's not like this is a newfound talent for him. He's had this. It was just like he just refused to do it. Refused to do it. But yeah, first winner and second winner technically. Daniels and Neighbors.
So moving on to my second winner. As much as I don't, oh man, now I'm questioning if this is this guy's name. Hang on.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, it is. It is. It is. I looked at it and I was like, that don't look right. Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa.
Uh,
So, look, everybody was down, really both of them. Mike McDaniel as a head coach and Tua as a quarterback, and I think they so far this year have proved the doubters wrong, hanging 70 on the Broncos.
yeah, like so hanging 70 on the defense is no joke, especially a Broncos defense who is I don't think the Broncos defense is the worst in the league, but boy, they made them look like the worst in the past century. And
I think they are pretty bad this year, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
nice. I was a little high on them. I guess I don't know why. Like I guess they had just the
The
name
Sean Payton
power.
effect.
Yeah, I guess Sean Payton could just drag a team down that bad, but no. Yes, props to Miami. Like I said, they always start out the seasons hot, so it's going to be very interesting to see if they can carry on the momentum, or if they're going to eventually crash into the sun like they have the past couple of seasons. It'll be interesting to see. Like so I think as long as Tua can stay healthy, not really Tua, but really if Tyreek and Waddle can stay healthy, I mean I think sky's the limit for that offense as they showed against Denver. But anything more you wanted to say before I moved on to my second/third winner?
No, go ahead for your second slash third winner.
Yeah, like I kind of screwed up by comboing. I'm just going to call this my second winner. I'm just going to call the Daniels Neighbors thing a combo, a two piece dark, if you will. Um, anyways, um, moving into a one piece white here. My second winner is well, no, this is a combo too. I'm gonna have a combo here of Max Verstappen and Red Bull. Formula One, Red Bull wins the Constructors Cup. They are the best manufacturer out there, so Red Bull Honda, congratulations to them. And mainly Max Verstappen. Unfortunately, his teammate Sergio Perez hasn't been able to do much damage this season. For what it's worth, he's still second place. But Max Verstappen is a resounding first, and I think he can clinch first place next race if I'm not mistaken. But
Pretty early, huh?
I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean,
I
this.
mean,
I think
he's won like
there's like
every.
six races left, right? But it is kind of usually these things do go down to the wire. Usually, but they're not. It's not this year. Yeah, Verstappen's running away with it. He had what 9 wins in a row. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Something like
8.
that.
Yeah, he had 9 wins in a row, and then just got his No, he had 10 wins. I'm sorry, he had 10 wins in a row. Um, yeah, he has 10 wins in a row, 13 wins on the season. Yeah, dude's a monster in Formula One. Um, so yeah, that's my second winner, Red Bull slash Max Verstappen, and then yeah, good for them. Like I said, they're absolutely dominant. It's Tom Brady Patriots level dominant.
Yeah, so I'll move on to my third winner, and that is Jonathan Gannon for the head coach for the Arizona Cardinals.
Hmm.
Dude, he's had them playing really well these
Hmm.
first 3 weeks. Um,
People making fun of him. I get it.
huh?
I got it. People making fun of him. I understand why, but
I mean, look, they put up a fight against the Commanders. Really should have beat the Giants, and then they
mhm.
started out hot in every single game. Uh, but they ultimately did lose to the Commanders and the Giants, and then beat the Cowboys. I mean, that's not an easy schedule to open up with, I wouldn't think. Granted, the Giants probably haven't had the start they wanted to, but man, I mean, he's got them playing really well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a surprise. I figured the Cardinals, especially without Kyler Murray, would be struggling. It would almost be willingly struggling this season. Especially like I said, I mean they have nothing to play for this season other than like I said. I think maybe the last half of the season, Kyler Murray is going to come back and they're going to try and like warm him back up into the offense. But Yeah, other than having that midget running around back there, I mean, I'm not sure what else the Cardinals are playing for. But I mean, like I said, they're proving, like you said, a lot of people wrong, a lot of the pundits wrong. They're looking very good this season. Granted, they're only 1-2, but hey, that one is against the Cowboys, who a lot of people have, as NFC favorites. So yeah, I think that's a good winner. And I'll move on to my last winner. Um, and very broad here as I try to keep it. But UFC winner, UFC fans, I should say, and UFC, I guess. I don't know. The sport and the fans are both winners here. And we've already talked about this before, right? But even more lately, some of these some of these cards are looking too good to be
Delicious.
true, almost. That's just how stacked it's getting. Obviously we have UFC 294, the Makhachev and Oliveira having a rematch there, but screw that. I have all two of my eyes pointed at UFC 295, Jones versus Miocic. But who even cares about that fight because of the co-main, Yuri Prohaska and Alex Pereira, and yeah, like I said, it's looking like a good card. And Dana's like, "Oh, I'm still putting it together." Like, yeah, he needs to calm down before he, you know, I don't know, burns the roof down to the UFC. Because, like I said, that card, just really the main event and the co-main for that event, for that card, I should say, are looking very good. So yeah, a lot of good fighting to end the year. So I guess my third one will be fight fans. Because and if I'm not mistaken, what Fury and Ngannou also fight later this year in boxing, which
Correct.
I'm doing my best to try and get into. But that should be. Dare I don't want to say good fight, but it's for entertainment purposes. Is That's going to be a good boxing good boxing match. But yeah, third winner UFC slash UFC fans slash fight fans.
Yeah. So, uh, moving on to my losers. I do have two losers.
Womp womp.
So the entire state of Colorado, obviously.
Dang it!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The Buffaloes and the Broncos both took pretty big L's this weekend. So the hype train for Colorado is I mean they're tilting off the rails here.
Mm. Oh, they're doing freaking barrel roll. They're rolling down a hill right now.
We'll see
I'm
about
out.
this weekend.
It's
We'll
like
see what
in
they
the
do this
Wild
weekend.
West when they blow up a bridge to like stop a train. I mean, that's pretty much what happened. This is I meant to send you the video over Instagram, dude. But I saw for the first time ever, I saw a video of a train going off rails. Like the bridge in front of it was blown out, right? Or the railings, I should say, it was elevated, but it was just like a two-cart train. But that
Mm,
train barreled off the rails. It just like went down a cliff and just crashed. It was I know it was one of the crazier things I've seen. I don't know how I've never seen that video before, but yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree with your loser there. That was a good one. That was one of mine.
yeah,
One
and
of
I
my
also have one more thing to say.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
let's not forget what Sean Payton said about Nathaniel Hackett, that it was one of the worst coaching
Hmm.
jobs in the history of the NFL.
Mm.
I'm just going to leave it at that. Let that soak into your mind.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's very very good point. Sean Payton said a lot of things as he was when he was an analyst that I'm sure he's regretting now. Not limited to what you just said, but also the fact that Tua was supposed to get benched, and which he did. Props to Sean Payton. Tua did get benched during the game he was playing with them, but yeah, he got benched because he was tearing them apart. So I'm not sure that's what Sean Payton expected, but that's uh that's where they are. Let's see. One of my losers, I'm kind of frazzled that you took my Colorado ones,
I
but
have another one if you just like me to
yeah,
do two.
go for it. I'll just react to yours.
Mhm. My second one is Lane Kiffin. Dude is now like I think he's 0 for 6 against Nick Saban.
Womp womp.
He just can't win big games, man. Like it's like they destroy teams that they should destroy, and then anytime they play somebody with a pulse, they just wilt. I don't get it, man. I don't think he's a good coach. I think he's a great offensive play caller, just a horrible head coach.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know for a fact. Whenever Ed O left, and people were like uh, begging him to become LSU's coach, I think you were like one of the few who wasn't
Yes.
for good reason. Dude seemed like a clown on social media too.
Yeah. He's too worried about trolling.
He trolled his own players into believing they could win. Unfortunate, as we say around here, womp womp.
Exactly.
um, let's see. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with a loser, but you kind of nailed them all. I mean, I would say the Saints, but we already talked about. I would say the Ravens. Maybe I can just say favorites. NFL favorites are losers. Um, but I don't know. That's kind of a reach. I mean, not really though. NFL sucks. I hate I hate having to support, and no matter what team I support, dude, they're half the team dies.
Yeah.
It don't matter, dude. I mean, I bet the world would have loved me to have supported Germany in World War II, because that war would have been over quick. Was I a fan? If I was a fan of Germany, or was it World War I that Germany was bad, or were they bad in both world wars?
Uh, they were more bad in World War II. World War One was just kind of like a
Oh, World War I was Japan, huh?
no, 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 no. It was World War Two as well. World War One was when